What is up, everyone? Welcome to HiFi Turtle, where we talk about everything audiophile. Today, I'm going to be talking about something a little bit different. While I'm typically reviewing audiophile products or components, today I'm going to be reviewing, or at least commenting on, an audiophile company, and that is Sound United. Well, I guess that's inaccurate now. I guess it is actually Masimo now. So the company formerly known as Sound United, or formerly known as Viper Holdings, who was the holding company that actually owned Sound United. And Sound United being the parent company of Bowers & Wilkins, Denon, Marantz, Definitive Technologies, and Class A. Just to bring you back up to speed, in April 2022, Masimo acquired Viper Holdings, the parent company of Sound United, for a little bit more than $1 billion. This was a huge acquisition. I think the biggest acquisition when it comes to like audiophile focused products. I guess unless you count the acquisition that Apple did of Dr. Dre's Beats back in the day, I think that was something like a little bit more than $3 billion. But I know you audiophiles are not going to call Beats by Dre an audiophile company, so I guess this is probably the largest audiophile focused acquisition in history. Sound United showed impressive sales of over $900 million annually and impressive growth quarter over quarter, with the quarter prior to the acquisition looking at over 20% growth. And this seems like all good things about Sound United, but in wake of this, Masimo's stock almost dropped 50%, the largest decline in the company's history. And that is because Masimo is a healthcare company. They are not a consumer audio, they are not an audiophile, they're not even a consumer-focused retail business like Sound United is. So a lot of investors who were investing in Masimo for the point that it's a healthcare company and doesn't have these cyclical business cycles, all of a sudden were jumping ship because they didn't want to be part of something that was retail focused, consumer focused, and cyclical, exposed to cyclical risks like that. Where healthcare is more predictable and, well, you really can't survive without healthcare, so it's kind of a necessary product versus audiophile stuff, which is, well, to be honest, not necessary. So now, over a year and a half later, we're at the end of 2023, the acquisition happened in the second quarter of 2022. Has this benefited Masimo? Has it benefited Sound United? Has it benefited the consumer? Well, if we're looking purely at stock price as an indicator, the answer is an unabashful no, because Masimo stock is still down, I think, about 50% from where it was before the acquisition was announced. But let's dive a little bit deeper beyond just how shareholders have reacted, and let's take a deep dive into the business of Sound United, or formerly Sound United, now pretty much known as the non-healthcare division of Masimo. As I mentioned earlier, when Masimo made this acquisition, Sound United was generating revenues of about $900 million a year with a ton of growth looking forward. Well, fast forward into full year 2023, those projections have been lowered again and again. And in Masimo's most recent financial statement from Q3 2023 that was released in early November, we see that they again lowered their full year guidance for the non-healthcare portion of their business, aka the audio side of their business, to $770 to $795 million for the full year. We also know from Masimo's full year 2022 statement that non-healthcare revenues had a margin of around 40%. Now, I know audiophiles often think that they're just getting ripped off royal by these companies, and these companies are just drowning in cash and making like obscene margins, but 40% really isn't that terrible and is pretty on par with a lot of businesses. Now, if you look one line above to the healthcare margin that is over 60%, then man, doesn't that make you think how messed up healthcare is in this country? But that's another YouTuber and a topic for some other video, to be honest. But the retail sector has been under a lot of pressure as of late, and I don't think that I can just say, oh, Masimo is fumbling the ball and causing this decline to happen at these legendary audiophile brands. I think it's more so just that people spent a lot of money on audiophile systems in 21 and 22, and it's just a cyclical business, and that cycle is coming down from its peak. Declining revenues, declining margins, these are negative things for any business. So to say that the non-healthcare portion of Masimo's business is thriving and a complete success post-acquisition, I don't think we've seen that. And again, I think the share price does reflect that. From the consumer side of things, I don't think the prices of Bowers or Class A or Denon or Marantz have increased any more than any other audiophile brand. If anything, I would say they might have decreased less. And I don't think the quality of these products have decreased either. So on the consumer side, I don't think that we've lost out on anything thus far. And I'm going to get into the healthcare side of this, or maybe some of the more synergies that have happened between Masimo and formerly Sound United in a second. Masimo showed this slide to investors to show that they were going to get into these new markets or new retailers or expand their relationship with these retailers and really bring their consumer side products to the next level with this acquisition. Masimo was already selling these products at big box retail or big retail like Amazon and Best Buy. And retailers that they called out like Crutchfield and JB Hi-Fi are not carrying any Masimo products that are not labeled with Bowers & Wilkins, Marantz, Denon, etc. We can even click on the profile for Masimo and see that their last 30 days show less than 100 items delivered to consumers. I don't think it's a win when your multi-billion-dollar business is selling less than 100 of these watches that are a couple $100s. That's just a rounding error in your accounting. That's not even enough to make an impact. So if those numbers are reflected at Best Buy and these other retailers, then I can't say that they've really taken their consumer side of the business to the next level with this acquisition. Even look at a Bowers & Wilkins dealer like Listen Up on Amazon. They've sold more than 1,000 items in the last 30 days on Amazon, and they are certainly nowhere near the size of Masimo is as a company, and I don't think they're anywhere near becoming big enough to be publicly traded or a part of these index funds. So what's the future of the non-healthcare portion of Masimo? Will Masimo, as the healthcare company, think that they've made a mistake and sell off all of the non-healthcare assets to somebody else? That's certainly possible. Are we just too early into the acquisition to see the benefits of this acquisition? Quite possibly. I think the only thing I saw that showed any kind of synergy between the two brands is that Masimo is integrating some of their healthcare transmission software into HiOS, which is the kind of smart home wireless streaming portion of Denon and Marantz products. But that was really the only thing I saw. So you could send your doctor a secure message from one of your Denon devices. That was the only thing that I saw where I was like, okay, that's something that you couldn't do before that now you can thanks to this acquisition. Honestly, when this acquisition happened, I didn't understand it at all. I thought the only way that this could make sense is that when you bought a Bowers & Wilkins Diamond Series product, you would get $100 off your next hospital visit voucher or something like that. I think it's still something that just has me scratching my head, and I think a lot of investors just thought that this is a pet project by the CEO, who said that he is an audiophile and has owned many Sound United products and really respects the brand. And that's just not good business to just involve your passions and hobbies into the business. Well, at least in the point of that you're a healthcare business especially. That's going to do it for me. Drop a comment below what you think of the acquisition. I think the only person that has really suffered in this is the Masimo shareholder pre-acquisition. I don't think we've seen any real negative repercussions in the audiophile space that were really predominant when this first happened. People were really scared that the brands were all going to change and nothing would be the same, and Bowers & Wilkins would just stop selling high-end premium gear, or Class A would just go away. None of that has happened, and it seems like that the future, at least, of these higher-end brands is still secure for now. But let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you think about a video like this versus a regular review. Give it that thumbs up if you like this video. Make sure you subscribe. It really helps me out. And like always, I'll see you in the next one.